Afternoon everyone, and thanks for this opportunity. Really appreciate it, and as I said earlier in a session like this, I was quite intrigued by the session itself that drew me from Mumbai to here. Our HRM conference focus on customer centricity isn't really the norm of the day. But I think it's though very topical and timely, and therefore I'm really happy to be here. Hopefully I can share some insights and some interesting things for this audience. A bit tough after the speakers that I saw since lunch to really follow up on that. But what I'll try and do is share a little bit of perspective around the whole concept of experience. We've talked about experience a little bit today, and I think it's really in the heart of the experience economy today. You hear a lot of buzz around the experience economy. We live in it. Tomorrow evening you will be going to the Ganga Aarti. Apart from a religious experience, it's an experience. And I was struck by this fact that a few weeks ago we had a session in our firm at the ITC near Delhi, the ITC Grand Bharat, the new property an hour outside Delhi, and they promised that there will be a Ganga Aarti there in the evening. So I was quite intrigued, how is that? Is it the Yamuna Aarti or what is it really? So what they had done was they got the timing right, 6:30 in the evening, they had a small water body and they got a pandit there to come and light the lamp, sing an aarti, that was it. So experiences sometimes work, sometimes they don't really come across as real. Hopefully tomorrow will be a very real and intimate one for all of you. But with that, let me talk a little bit about the entire concept of the experience economy, and particularly related to our topic of the day around customer centricity, and then take it down to what I think is relevant for the entire group, and hopefully the next 2-3 days around how does it influence employee experience. Right? Before I go further into detail on the customer centricity agenda, I think I also wanted to just put it in a bit of historical context. We talk about a lot of customer centricity today, but in the years gone by, we never always did. I mean, as I think Mr. Mehta rightly said, 25 years the last has been when we are talking much more. We are in a buyer's economy. Therefore, customers are obviously becoming more and more important to us. But in the past, there were other ways by which we got competitive advantage, and as a consultant, I wanted to just share this very simple framework, which is how do companies get competitive advantage. Right? There is one which is obviously the entire area of product innovation, being the best at your product. And many organizations did this. All of our manufacturing organizations have wanted to be in that space. And then, of course, in the 80s, we heard a lot of about operational excellence. We've got to be the best, lowest cost product and be very efficient and productive at what we do. And that's one way by which some organizations become the leaders. Right? Maybe global organizations like Walmart, McDonald's come to mind. And then, of course, it is the entire domain of customer intimacy or customer centricity, which is becoming more and more important because we live today in an experience economy. And when we talk of customer intimacy and offering, what comes to your mind? I mean, in your mind, what would be a global company which you would rate as the best in customer intimacy and customer centricity in any category? Would anyone volunteer? Apple? Well, Apple is seen as a little bit different. Apple is seen as a company which is really best at its product and its product design. That's the way globally it's seen. Well, you might come across it as a very customer-centric company too, but its reason for being the most valuable company or being there is because it had the product design capability. But there's another company there which is Dell, another very interesting example, but that Dell has been the masters at efficiency and productivity in supply chain and getting a product to you when you wanted it. So it's all around operational excellence. But I got a third name there, and that was Amazon, absolutely. So let me just take you to what is a bringing to life of this framework. What are companies which might fit here? And if you look at the right bottom corner, it is really companies who are seen globally. The brand is seen as a trusted partner. So now that may come from different sources, right? And Amazon is one such marquee company. It has built itself into probably one of the most valuable company in the world on the back of true customer obsession. And I want to talk a little bit about another company there, which is probably related to one of the sectors you deal in, and you might have far more insight than me. If you spotted there is Michelin. And before I talk about Michelin, let me show you a little bit about Amazon. Of course, Amazon If you look back over the last 22 years, its stock price, it's gone up 100,000%. But what is it coming out of? And in here, I've got a little bit of a video of Jeff Bezos speaking about some of the themes you all talked about. I thought might be interesting. I'll show you that. But these are some of the themes that they have single-mindedly focused on as an organization. Focused on innovation, focused on customer service. Whatever you do on an Amazon website, the policies they have for being customer friendly, customer intimate are not matched by anyone today. Even anyone of us who used Flipkart before probably still vouch for that in India. And that's what's probably the secret of Amazon's success. Let me talk a little about Michelin, something closer to your heart, and this is something of a unique company. It's more, as yours group itself is more than a 100-year-old French brand. But not only is it a tire company, and beyond tires, they have invented themselves to tires as a service. And I know even JK Tires has an initiative around JK Mobility Solutions. Very interesting one. I think even Michelin has pioneered that a few years ago. But what's even more interesting to me that they promise or vision to their customers, to their market is that they will be not a tire company, but a sustainably improving mobility for people and goods. So they see themselves as a mobility solutions company. And that led them to define their market in a very different way. They wanted to do everything it was for the customer who's mobile and on the go, locally and globally. So what they have, and I think some of you would have obviously know about this far more, they have mobility experiences. If you go to their site and if you have experienced some of this when you travel overseas, they have maps and travel apps which are second to none. Their app for looking at local destinations, sites, roads online is second only to Google Maps and has 400 million visitors coming on via Michelin. Their prints, their paper maps, and today you might think paper maps are not popular, but I'm told every 6 seconds around the world a paper map is sold, and 75% of that is a Michelin map. And not only that, look at their other gastronomy. You would have, I don't know how many of you have connected Michelin chefs and Michelin starred restaurants with Michelin. I'm sure Mr. Prasad here knows very well. I'm sure many of you in the audience, but I'm not sure. I mean, I didn't know about this several years ago, but Michelin starred restaurants, an experience which we can't match, is born out of a tire company's desire to be customer centric. Right? So this really redefines the way about what business am I in. And that truly is at the heart of being customer centric, if I may share. And let me now share with you a video of what Jeff talks about, if I may, which hopefully gets this to life too.
A lot has happened over the last 15 years. As I said, we've made a lot of mistakes. We've learned some things. And I want to tell you everything I know. I can guarantee you I like to start with customers and work backwards. And again, that is the key thing that I know, and it covers a lot of other mistakes. If you're truly obsessed over customers, it'll cover a lot of errors. The second thing I know is invent. It's really important to invent. Anytime we have a problem, we never accept either or thinking. We try to figure out a solution that gets both things. And that often requires invention, but you can invent your way out of any box if you believe that you can. And what we talk about is inventing on behalf of customers. It's not a customer's job to invent for themselves. You need to listen to customers. It's critical. If you don't listen to customers, you will go astray. But they won't tell you everything. And so you need to invent on their behalf. And that focus on invention has served us well. Some of the recent things, even Kindle, not just Kindle, but EC2, the Elastic Compute Cloud, these are things that we would have never gotten to if we didn't have an inventive culture. But also, those are kind of large grain things, but there are small things too. Think long term. This is really critical. Any company that wants to focus on customers and put customers first. Any company that wants to invent on behalf of customers has to be willing to think long term. And it's actually much rarer than you might think. I find that most of the initiatives we undertake may take 5 to 7 years before they pay any dividends for the company. And that brings me to my final thing that I know. It's always day one. There's always more invention in the future, always more customer innovation, new ways to obsess over customers.
So I guess that shows why Amazon is number one there. Always day one, they still think themselves as a startup possibly. But that was really intended to be showing as to how an organization has used customer intimacy, customer obsession as its reason to succeed, as its main basis to succeed. There can be other bases to succeed today also. But this in the emerging environment is becoming more and more important. So let's spend a little bit of time on customer centricity. I didn't want to spend too much time on this theory. I wanted to show some videos where people, greater experts than me, have expounded it in a better form. So I'll do that, but I want to spend the last half an hour doing a bit of activity with you to apply whatever we are talking about to some real world problems. I think that probably might be useful to you. So I thought just a little word with the power that digitization offers us. It is about creating very consciously customer experiences which will wow them. Right? And when I say customer experiences, it's not simply a matter of transactional or tactical creating moments. But it's about truly, the first step of that creating a customer experience means stepping into the customer's shoes. It means empathy, and empathy is a very powerful word. It's not simply sympathy for someone else, understanding, but being able to understand that person's feeling by living in their shoes. Right? That is the first step of designing a customer experience. Stepping into their shoes, knowing the customer. And then it is really about designing the experiences, and then the power of execution to deliver it seamlessly, consistently, every time at scale and at global level. Right? This is the cycle of what we can really do to offer a superior customer experience. And therefore, let me again, customer centricity. There is a short video again by a professor from Harvard called Professor Ranjay Gulati. You would have possibly.
So one of the central themes is
talking
talking about how companies need to put customers at the center of their business. And what I have with this is almost like a cliche or a platitude, because I produce X product or service, and my job is to go out and make sure I sell it. As opposed to saying, my definition of who I am is I want to own this problem space. I want to solve these problems for these customers, and then my job is to figure out how can I best do this. So my identification is more with a set of customers and a set of issues they're dealing with, as opposed to with, here's my product or my service, or this is what I produce. And I think that kind of shift is where this all starts. That is, of course, facilitated if you start with a position of curiosity and humility, where you're curious to know who are my customers, what is really going on in their lives, and asking questions that are beyond narrow product-centric questions. Many companies are going to claim to be customer-centric, but when I say, well, what makes you customer-centric? And they say, well, I ask my customers, do you like my product? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? How can I make it better for you? And I said, that's not customer-centric. That's looking at the customer.
8% agreed they were getting a superior customer service. I find that also sometimes in our organizations, not all of us, it's the employee experience is very similar. If you talk to senior management, they feel, yes, employees are my biggest asset, as Mr. Malin said. We value them very much, we give them a great experience, but how is it that people experience it is often at a tangent to that. So really the whole concept of customer experience we talked about can be really taken forward into the world of employee experience. It's very, very correlated. If I showed that, I think, and I think someone spoke earlier also about how does employee experience tackle or impact customer experience. Someone asked the question, employee first or customer first. And there was a panel discussion around it. And I was wondering whether I can get this to play. I've got a YouTube video here. If I can just get help again, which shows very graphically the influence of.
Excuse me, can you please have it?
You can just.
Don't worry about it. I'll cover your work and you take my apartment in Hawaii for a week. Not going to happen. But you are going to need some kind of help. Only a bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich, like the one you just heard advertised on the radio, is going to get you into work. You take the next left, the third right, and hey, presto, The ads in the window look delicious and cheesy and hot and chic. 4 of your favorite things right there in one sandwich. How the meaty smell emanating from the kitchen. Off to a good start then. Behind the counter, the dark lord of the online gaming community stares right back at you through cold, dead eyes. You turn on your feet and get out of there fast, taking nothing but the smell of pickle, disinfectant, and regret. So far, so bad. And you still don't have your coffee. Without those molecules tricking your synapses into operating at full steam, you'd still be a trainee living with your mom and dad, and not earning enough. A rich aroma picks you up off your feet as you float inside Paulo's roastery. His familiar hands and winning smile overcome your feeling of guilt for having been led astray in the first place. He silently mouths, usual, your eyes close gently. You nod twice. Welcome home. Everyone seems happy. It's not just the caffeine or the free muffins, or Paulo's smile, or the fact that they know what you're going to order before you do. It's all those things rolled into one experience. You jump on his free Wi-Fi and tweet your 1,400 followers. Mornings are rough unless you start at Paulo's roastery. No sooner have you put your phone down than a trainee barista appears and says, "Thanks for the tweet, this one's on the house." She takes your loyalty card and stamps it. Twice. You are fast falling in love with Tuesdays, specifically Tuesdays at Paulo's. Full of warmth and coffee, you drive the last couple of blocks to work. You see a flyer for that awful breakfast chain and have a moment of clarity about Zoltaire the Almighty. Maybe he hadn't had his training, and he was just finishing an unsupervised 12-hour shift.
Maybe, like 3/4 of Americans, he's living with virtually no savings.
Maybe he travels another hour just to get home. Maybe none of this is his fault, but it's too late. You're never going back there. In one beautifully ugly, freezing, warm, joyfully sad morning, your tired and time-poor eyes have seen all of life. You've had bad experiences, and you will tell people. You've had good experiences, and you have. You see around 1,200 marketing messages every single day. They're becoming wallpaper. They're everywhere, yet they are invisible. Your real-world experiences as a consumer are all that matter now. Because whatever it was that radio ad promised you, the reality simply didn't match up. Trust is gone, forever. But Paulo knows you as an individual. He makes you feel good. He makes sure even his newest employees understand what makes his business great. He doesn't sell cups of coffee. He sells his knowledge. He sells tranquility. He sells free Wi-Fi, free muffins, understanding, empathy, and armchairs. He uses your data to help you, not him. You get to work inspired and call a team meeting. The boardroom looks cold and personal and uninviting.
From a sales orientation to one built around customer needs. It's a subtle yet potentially seismic shift from product to experience.
From mass market to individual.
Your valuable, protected brand, the focus of your energy and budget, it's at risk every time you interact with a customer.
You see, whatever it is you think you sell, you probably don't. We are all trading in an economy that is all about experience. We all sell the antidote to cold.
I think brought home pretty starkly to me when I saw this also that employee experience and customer experience are simply two sides of the same coin. Now it's easy to see that in a business which is retail, customer facing. But yes, every business of ours, whether it's tire, paper, other businesses, this could be brought to life every day when the employee experience translates very, very directly into a customer experience. So with that, not too much more on theory. I just wanted to sort of just flash a few things. I mean, clearly, I'm sure this would not be. I mean, a lot of research around the fact that employee experience drives real business benefits, and happy employees obviously means happy customers and organizations. But obviously, it's not enough. And what does it really mean? I mean, as I think many people spoke about earlier, really building your, just like we said. When we talked of customer experience, that customers are at the heart of your organization. When we design for employee experience, it means we put employees at the heart of our organization. It is a mindset shift for sure. And this is a bit more of theory. And this is a little bit about how does really one go about doing it in organizations that are doing this today, customer-facing service organizations, manufacturing organizations. Just like customers, I mean, the whole field of employee experience strategy and design is really adapting from the world of the customer experience. And today, no customer facing, no marketing person would do anything with the customer as a one-size-fits-all. One has heard of old strategies like segmentation and targeting. And therefore, even in the world of employee experience, the starting point is really understanding your employee. Not as a big mass, but in this world of hyper-personalization, to be able to identify employee persona, the types of employees whom you can then treat in a distinct way. You can't be treating all employees in your organization the same way. So the first start of this is to be able to identify those personas. And personas is not simply a demographic persona, is with that empathy to really understand what is it that makes an employee tick. And from that, understand the journeys that our employees take with the organization, whether they join us in onboarding. As we talked quite a bit earlier passionately about the experience of job rotation and development of a career. That's a journey that an organization takes. It can be guided, it can be designed. And other journeys employees take in the organization. Understanding those, and then in those journeys deciding through that journey what are the moments and what are the experiences that I want my employee to experience, which will then of course deliver a superior customer experience if we are really making customer experience and customer centricity the bedrock of our strategy. Right? So with that, I just wanted to pause there and a little bit more around employee experience itself, but I won't belabor this. But I wanted to take some time for a bit of table reflection. I think a lot said from this side. It might be useful to maybe spend, I wanted about maybe 10-15 minutes at each table, and maybe you can get, there are lots of tables here, I know, and some of small 4-5 people, but maybe 8-10 people can get together at a table. There is a small handout there, what I wanted the teams to do, and then we'll maybe pick 2 teams at random to play back to the whole set plenary. I want you to think about an important strategic goal for your business. This is rooted in business, it's not for employees alone, as I said, just for the sake of that. It is rooted in your business. Think about a strategic goal for your business for the next 3 years. And at your table, and I request maybe business leaders also, if you like, join the table to guide them. And at your table, decide one strategic initiative that you would take or that you can design to create a wow employee experience. Yes, you could relate it to a customer experience too. But think about one strategic initiative you can take, one wow, but that will enable the strategic goal you thought about. Whether whichever business you take, one strategic goal, long term, we heard Jeff talking about think long term, not for this year. So think about that and discuss the objective of this initiative, what impact it will have, give it a title, and around that initiative I would like you to, and your team, just think about some action you will take around, and we've shared a one-page format at each table. Hopefully this will be useful for you, Prem and the HR team, to just see what thinking is sparked off, and I hope it fits in the rest of your agenda.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So this one pager I have on each table, and if you can sort of deliberate, starting from thinking about one strategic goal for your business, anyone at the table can take that initiative. Think about, in order to achieve that, what would be one wow employee experience you want to create with the JK group. And for that employee experience, what are the changes around people, process, technology you will need to undertake? Fair? Fair enough?
And the business leaders will go around the table.
Yes, absolutely.
Said career and succession planning initiative. That is goal 1. The second, to achieve this, the change in people initiative, that is to change the mindset of the people. We have to train, coach, mentor them. Before that, we will have a systematic ADC to understand their skills. Then there will be an individual development program and executive development program for them. Then understand their professional needs as well as their personal needs. If at all there is a scope for self-development scheme, higher education, we will provide them. And also, then we will instill a confidence in the candidate. Yes, you can. That is we coined these words to instill confidence in them. Then mindset, yes, of course, to continuous learning and learning process, counseling, and one more word here we use, know your customer, like know your employees in depth. Then the third point is, I'll come to the third quadrant, that is process. In this process, we will start with identifying the competencies, then gap. We have to bridge the gap after the assessment. Then for that requisite ADC we will constitute. Then later on, the effort and time for mentoring talent pool till management thinks that yes, he can take up the position. And in this also, reward and techniques is a part of it. We'll reward them suitably the way he handles his position. Then last one is changing technology. Here we will use the digitization and online learning modules. Then